You know, generally TV or movie adaptations for video games are seen in a negative light, mainly because you're mixing two different types of media for two different types of audience, which is a hard task to pull off successfully. There's very few shows that manage to make it, and one of my favorites has to be Kirby Right Back At Ya, which aired in North America from September 14, 2002 to December 9th, 2006 on the Channel 4 Kids. I know I'm gonna fucking butcher these names, but you can yell about it all you want in the comments. The show was directed and written by Soji Yoshikawa, and produced by Satoru Iwata, Taihei Yamanashi, Seiichi Hirano, and Takayuki Okazaki. Now that I'm done embarrassing myself, I think I should actually talk about the actual show. The show itself had a very simple premise, with Kirby landing on planet Popstar, and being found by the main characters and being introduced to Cappy Town. That's right, Cappy Town. You know, those things. You know, you killed them in cold blood in pretty much every single Kirby game. Anyway, King Dedede and his assistant Escargoon usually plot to run Kirby out of Cappy Town by ordering monsters from Nightmare Enterprises. You know, it's a cute and simple premise, but what managed to stand out to me was how much they managed to accomplish. What also impressed me was how much character, personality, atmosphere, and a bunch of character traits the games could never give you. It's kind of a bummer that Escargoon, a character they spent so much time designing, writing out, and developing, has only ever appeared in a single Kirby game, that being Kirby Mass Attack. However, he wasn't really the only character that was so fleshed out. It honestly felt like each character could have been the main character. My favorite has to be King Dedede, voiced by Ted Lewis. And I gotta say, they nailed it with the voice and the attitude. I mean, like, honestly, look how much charisma is in this voice acting.
I'm hungry as a hippo here!
I'm coming!
Bad tasting food shouldn't take so long!
I think I really captured you, sire.
I ought to capture you!
What do you think, your majesty?
I think it stinks!
Pretty good, huh?
Pretty awful!
I slimmed you down a bit.
Ah!
How's this?
The dialogue shared between the characters actually felt real. The jokes varied from so corny it's funny to clever. The show had quite a lot of genuinely funny moments. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch many of the episodes when I was a kid. Mainly because I was probably outside playing with some sticks or some rocks or I don't know, some random bug I could find. However, once I got introduced to the internet, I had the chance to go back and watch all the episodes. You know, I still remember the morning the movie aired. Yeah, it had a movie. And I got to watch it fully with my brother. And honestly, I have to say, if you watch all the episodes, it actually kind of does build up to the movie pretty nicely. You know, part of it may be because the premise of the show was so well built that it actually supported an episodic and story-driven approach. Like always, not all shows are perfect, and some episodes do lack in quality. One episode actually reused scenes from another episode, but other than that, the animation was well made. It never really looked too awkward, and it was well drawn and 3D modeled. Yeah, 3D modeling was used, but it always really felt natural for some reason. Though the art style vaguely resembles an anime, it still shares similarities found in those types of animation, such as two-frame mouth movements. You know, even though the antagonist was genuinely pure evil, he was actually the most memorable simply because how much character they gave him. Not only that, but he was actually on the verge of galactic dominance, Star Wars style. So much builds up to him, like, you see him referenced here and there, and like, you always want to find out who the hell is this guy. You want to know if Kirby will ever even have a chance against him. And if you couldn't guess, Enemy, or Nightmare, was the one creating the monsters and having his businessmen sell them across the universe. Some warriors did fight back. These were known as the Star Warriors, and Meta Knight was part of them. Many of the monsters are characters that appeared in the game, such as Fire Lion, Bugsy, Ice Dragon, Kracko, and so on. One thing the show did was answer many questions fans had about the games for years, such as, how does a Waddle Dee eat? And for those of you who never knew, this is how a Waddle Dee eats.
Waddle Dees can't eat because there ain't no place to shovel in food.
But sire, every living creature needs nourishment.
Let's see if he eats this cookie. No way!
It absorbed the cookie.
Hey, how'd it do that? It's munching all right.
Wonder how it flosses.
I'm not gonna lie, the show has made me cry like a bitch twice. And if it managed to do that with video game characters of all things, then that should probably tell you something. The show has exaggerated fighting scenes like the ones you would usually see in anime, but not really to that extent. And I find it cool seeing all the copy abilities that we've been used to throughout the games being put in action. And honestly, imagine how much easier the games would be if the copy abilities were actually that good. I found this weird sound design wise, but when Kirby walked or King Dedede appeared, there was usually like a little sound cue that would play, and I don't know why I found it so fitting. What I liked about the show was that the characters were always placed in different scenarios, and each one responded to the scenario depending on how they developed. I also really liked that the characters of the show were genuine dickheads to each other. I mean, just listen to the shit they say to each other.
It is the goodness that lies within the deepest part of you.
Please, the only thing lying in the deepest part of him is a fried cheese log.
What's your point?
The Waddle Dees don't get paid, Your Majesty, but if you don't feed them right, there's gonna be big trouble.
Trouble.
Pretty soon you're gonna find the Waddle Dees revolting.
That's okay. We already find the Waddle Dees revolting.
Designed it myself.
That's the sloppiest, ugliest character I've ever seen!
We've been lost in these woods all day. And if I keep following you, I'll be here all night. There. That's the way out.
But sire, we tried that way. Trust me, that's the way out.
This way!
That way!
I'm going this way, you slug.
Whatever!
I'm scared of Wispy Woods.
I am too, sire.
I can see for miles up here.
King Dedede, wait! Please don't do this in public. You have an image to maintain, sire. Bird watching's for the touchy-feely type monarchs, and that sure ain't you.
That's right, we want a playground, not a big ugly statue!
Well, the only reason it's ugly is because it's an exact replica of the king.
Also, I know a lot of people complain about it, but I genuinely like how they made Meta Knight in this version. I know people hated the voice, but I actually thought it was so fitting. He's got this like Zorro feel going on, and I really dig it. It's a shame that this version of Kirby isn't canon, because it's honestly the most well-structured, and it had the most memorable and lovable characters in my opinion. You know, as much as I love the show, I genuinely don't believe that it should continue, because I'd rather let it be good than let it just die out of ideas and shit. And this coming from a guy who knows jack shit about shows and movies. I'm just a video game person. And I know there was a 3DS episode that was 101, and I honestly thought it was pretty good. It was a nice short little quick experience. And honestly, I hope more video game animated series or movies can accomplish the same goal of merging these two medias together, because when it works, you get gems like this. Honestly, 4 out of 5.